Welcome, future PMPs. This is Prachi Joshi. Today, we are going to start building the knowledge you need to pass the exam. It's all fundamentals. You're going to learn a lot of new terminologies. So focus, and I know you guys will do it. Let's begin the deep dive.
So this table is from PMP 6th edition. However, by now you already know that the table itself is so important. Believe me, I recently gave my exam and I had questions on the process, the flow of process, and around, of course, the knowledge area is so much important. I cannot emphasize as much. So resource is just limited to human resources, but resources means a ton of things, and hence it was updated to resource management. Now, first you do plan the resource management. By now, you already know what is planning any of the management resources or schedule or cost, any of the knowledge areas. It shows the how or makes us understand how we are going to manage that particular knowledge area. So that is, again, planning the resource management is nothing but how you are going to plan for the resources for the rest of your project. So that is resource management plan. And during the execution phase, during the execution phase, you acquire the project team. So this is the time when you acquire your team and the other resources. You develop the project team, you manage the team. So it's a short section, but it's a deep one. So it's not limited to acquiring resources and how do we develop it, but the main thing is how do you manage it. So let's look into it, how to do it. Before we staff the team, we look at the foundational philosophy that guide how we treat physical resources. The total productive maintenance, that is TPM. TPM is a comprehensive approach aimed at achieving zero cost, zero breakdowns, and zero defects. It's about maintenance being everyone's job and not just people who are working on it or the person who's working on it. It's everyone's job. It's teamwork, team effort, and it's not individual or solo effort. Everybody needs to fix if there's a defect, breakdown, or accident. Okay? And theory of constraint. This is a new term for you, and it is important for your exam. Total theory of constraint, TOC. This is the idea that a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. TOC is a methodology for identifying the most limiting factor that prevents your project from moving faster and then systematically improving that one constraint until it's no longer the bottleneck, right? So until you have the bottleneck, you keep on working on it. That's theory of constraint. Now, the greatest enemy of project success is waste. That brings us to the lean management. Lean management is nothing but reducing the waste. It's a core philosophy focused on maximizing customer value while minimizing the waste. This ties directly into helping your project be more on time because we eliminate delays. So here are the 5 core principles of lean. We identify the customer, map the value stream, create the flow, establish the pool, and pursue the perfection. What is identifying customer value? Always start by defining what the customer considers valuable. The value stream. Analyze the process to find and eliminate the waste. Value stream mapping is a visual tool where you can analyze the process from start to end and you find and eliminate the waste. Then you create the flow. Ensure value moves smoothly without interruptions. Establish the pool. This is the key. Produce only what is needed, when it's needed, and not based on inaccurate forecasts. This is also known as just in time. Just in time, we also learned in procurement video why procurement and resources goes hand in hand. Let me give you an example here in just in time. For example, if you're planning a wedding or a baby shower for yourself or your friend, let's say you are acquiring the resources. You are procuring it. For example, if you plan for 200 people to attend the event, you'll plan for about chairs, for example. You won't probably procure all those 200 chairs for your event. You might do a contract, you might rent out those few chairs, not necessarily buy it. Why? because you don't want to waste it. What will you do after the event is over of those 200 chairs? You rent it out, for example, right? You don't buy necessarily. Again, it's the similar case here. Produce only when it is needed. So that is just in time. Now, the greatest enemy of project success is waste. That brings us to the lean management. Lean management is nothing but reducing the waste. It's a core philosophy focused on maximizing customer value while minimizing the waste. This ties directly into helping your project be more on time because we eliminate delays. So, here are the 5 core principles of lean. We identify the customer, map the value stream, create the flow, establish the pool, and pursue the perfection. What is identifying customer value? Always start by defining what the customer considers valuable. Map the value stream. Analyze the process to find and eliminate the waste. Value stream mapping is a visual tool where you can analyze the process from start to end and you find and eliminate the waste. Then you create the flow. Ensure value moves smoothly without interruptions. Establish the pull. This is the key. Produce only what is needed, when it's needed, and not based on inaccurate forecasts. This is also known as just in time. Just in time, we also learn in procurement video, continuous improvement in every aspect of the system, right? Like in Kaizen, when we learn in one of the videos, what is Kaizen? It's a small continuous improvement. That is lean management, right? Perfection in every aspect of the system. Not just the project, it could be about the team or any small process you're following in the team or any aspects in the system, right? Moving on to the 8 wastes, also known as downtime in lean. To eliminate waste, we use the acronym downtime. These are the 8 types of waste that slows the project down. What does each alphabet mean? D is for defects, O is for overproduction, waiting time, non-effective use of time and talent, transport, inventory, motion, excessive processing. Spot these wastes type in your workflow. Question if each step adds real value to it, and apply lean tools like 5S, Kaizen, which I just spoke about. It's a small continuous improvement. Holistically, not just on your project, it could be on your team or other aspects of the project. So any aspect, small continuous improvement is Kaizen and Kanban to eliminate them. All right. The most complex and valuable resource is your people. So let's dive into motivation theories that guide how we manage people or your team. So there are a few theories which we need to understand. The psychology of your team members. As project managers, we have to understand the human engine of the project. So these are the theories of motivation. There is a Maslow hierarchy of needs, Herzberg's theory, theory X and Y, Ouchi's theory Z, McClland's theory of needs, Vroom's expectancy theory, and Halof effect. So let's look at each one of them, what it means. So Maslow's theory. As you can see in the triangle, it's a hierarchical levels and needs, right? People must satisfy basic needs before they can focus on higher level needs. For example, basic needs people require is food, shelter, safety. Those are the things. First comes psychological, then safety, and so on and so forth until you come to the very top. If you have the basic needs, the psychological needs, the safety needs, then you will need the self-esteem or achieving that potential. So that's the highest. After that, I think people are more satisfied, and that's what Maslow's hierarchy of needs explains us. Herzberg's theory. He splits factors into 2: hygiene factors and motivators. Things that prevent dissatisfaction, like salary or working conditions or policies, falls under hygiene factors. If it is present, it could lead to no dissatisfaction. But if it does not, if it's absent, it will definitely lead to dissatisfaction of the employees. And the motivators, things that can actively create satisfaction, like recognition or challenging work. So that's Herzberg's theory. Moving on to theory X and Y. This is from the perspective of a manager and not employee. So what does theory X mean? It assumes, these kind of managers assumes people are inherently lazy and requires micromanagement. While theory Y assumes people are self-led and motivated. So those are contrasting personalities of managers, which you need to understand and remember. Moving on to the other theories, McClland's theory of needs. Its individual needs are acquired over time and shaped by experience. The main needs are achievement, affiliation, and power. So, in this theory, it is not always sequential, like how we learned in Maslow's theory. It could be in either order. Like people, uh, there could be people who falls under the category of seeking to excel. Those type of people are falls under needs of achievement. Uh, People who seek harmonious relationship falls under affiliation category, while people who seek to influence others falls under needs for power. These people need power more than achievement or affiliation from anybody. We can use a test like the TAT to see which need is driving someone. Right? Think about your team members who fall under the category of needs for achievement or needs for affiliation, who are seeking a harmonious relationship over work or achievement or power. There might be a few people who seek influence from others. Those are people who need power. So we need to understand our team member psychology and accordingly uh, act on the situation. Moving on to Vroom's expectancy theory. People are motivated when they are believed their efforts leads to good performance. That is expectancy, which leads to desired rewards, that is instrumentality, and the reward is valuable to them. Right? So motivation is equals to expectancy into rewards into value. And lastly, Ouchi's theory Z. We studied theory X and Y, and now this is Ouchi's theory Z. This is a hybrid of American and Japanese culture, emphasizing trust, collective decision making, employee loyalty, and long term employment. But watch out for the halo effect of people, right? This is where your overall good impression of someone, say a software developer who is a great at coding, makes you wrongly assume they will be great at PM role as well. So don't let one skill blind you to other. So that is halo effect. Be aware of these kinds of people. Halo effect is also one of the important terms for your exam. Now let's apply this to the schedule. We have got the people. How do we properly align them to the tasks? Technical resource planning and scheduling. When planning, we first establish who will do what and who reports to whom. This is defined in your organizational planning and documents like your role chart or role responsibility matrix. Now, resource types and duration. When allocating resources, you must understand how effort affects the completion date. Now, there are two types of activities, effort-driven activity and fixed duration activities. Now, effort-driven activity. The total amount of work remains constant here, but the duration changes depending on the number of resources aligned. Let's take an example of testing a software feature. If more testers can split the test cases, it reduces the duration, isn't it? But in the fixed duration activity, the length of time does not change, no matter how many resources are aligned. For instance, trainer-led session. Whether you have one trainer or 5 trainers, the session still lasts for 2 days. Right? So even adding more people doesn't make sense because the session time or training time is fixed. Difference between resource-dependent and time-constrained work leads to a crucial warning that can sink your schedule. We must understand the difference between the fixed duration activity and the law of diminishing returns. This is a common exam trap. So what's the difference between the two? Now, law of diminishing returns warns that adding too many people to an effort-driven task may eventually reduce productivity. The difference? The fixed duration assumes no change in time regardless of manpower. The law of diminishing returns highlights that even for effort-driven tasks, there's a limit. Too many cooks just slows the process down due to communication and coordination overhead. So finally, considering the motivation systems, a zero-sum reward system creates a winner and losers. Why this can push the performance? If not managed carefully, it can destroy your team's collaborative environment as well. And there you have it, a deep dive into the PMP resource management. Remember the key takeaways. Eliminate the waste using lean. Understand what motivates your team members and classify your stakes as effort-driven or fixed duration to set realistic schedules. If this breakdown helped you, hit that like button. Next time, we will be putting it all together for risk management and see you all there. Bye-bye.